about your switcheroo theory. Could just do a head-in. I suppose I'm going to be picking crumbs of glass out of here now forevermore. 150 quid for a new window. It's daylight robbery. You want a Coke with that, by the way?
I can murder a black coffee.
OK.
Why'd you just do that?
It's all right.
Lock your door when you saw me. He's an ugly-looking pile of shit. I'd better lock my door in case he tries anything, right? Well, I don't like the look of you either, as it happens. So do you want to get out and discuss it? I said, do you want to get out and discuss it? I said, do you want to get out and discuss it? What's your turn? Go on, get out there or not?
That's it. And very gently, out you come.
What's your game?
This. What's yours? Tiddlywinks? Now piss off before I nick the pair of you.
Oh, you've got a bitch. Not again.
So then, Mr. Creek. Claustrophobic woman in a lift? No signature on the suicide note? What do we think? Morella was really Beryl? Which may affect the motives, if not the mechanics of this crime.
You think it was a crime?
Well, these are very murky waters. And if I know anything about anything, I'll retain a friend, Mr. Prekops, at the source of it all. Of course, we've had to release him again for now, but he'll give himself away sooner or later. Oh, yes, and a possible lead on the riddle of the limping man. Been squatting in some kiddie's homemade den, apparently, out in the woods. Little bit of detective work. We should have a name for him within a day or two.
What?
I'm telling you.
Look at you, you've got half a windscreen down here.
So where is it you are now? I've lost track. City University?
Doing a postgraduate degree course in cytology. Staring down a lot of microscopes, basically. Till I find a teaching job some... Oh, hold still. Got another couple of bits down your waistband.
I know. It's amazing where they all get to.
Careful, Jonathan. Just tip him upside down over the sink. What I do in my electric toaster. Otherwise it... What in hell's name?
It's okay, it's just father firing off a few rounds. Thought he'd have had enough of guns for this week. Find something to do. Displacement activity, I suppose. And we go mad.
So, I think you said something about scrapbooks, Jonathan? Jonathan?
Oh, yeah, those press cuttings of your mother's upstairs. That's a bit of a flyer, but sometimes these things can spark a thought.
Oh, of course. You know your way around.
You've known him quite a few years now.
There was a time, once, I thought... Definitely. It's going to happen. We'd had this really fantastic evening together. You know, when you just get a feeling about someone. I virtually offered myself to him on a plate that night. But then, for whatever reason, he just made a polite excuse, and there you go. At the end of the day, I suppose I wasn't his type.
Suppose. Now, Charlotte, a couple more tiny points I'd like to catch up on. Would you mind?
I suppose it's part of the ritual. We all have to sit through this. My daughter should be in hospital.
It was like, what's the point anymore? After that, of going on.
I can see there's a lot for people to come to terms with here. A woman who for 15 years took on her sister's role as a wife and mother. Became that wife and mother for all practical purposes. Did it matter at the end of the day what name she was born with? Evidently, to one person in this room, it mattered enough to murder. Problem, though. How do you kill someone so it looks as if they'd done it themselves? Not once, but twice. First in the morning with an overdose, then again at 4 o'clock with a rifle. And more bafflingly, why? And what do we make of this mystery figure in the snow, this limping man? The last person, apparently, to speak to her before she died. As it turns out, not a lot.
He was just some bloke, basically, living rough in the woods of a slightly nervous disposition with a dodgy leg.
A man who had nothing to do with anything, and yet without whom we'd never have been able to lock this case up. Yes, of all the details, the dodgy leg was the clincher, just slightly ahead of that lamp in the conservatory. Of course, the flex hadn't been shortened at all. It was the table that had been moved further away. That much I'd fathomed, though why was still beyond me.
No such thing as magic. It's hard to hang on to that thought, kind of stuff we've been seeing. Even when you know it's a lie. No one can perform invisible surgery with their hands. No one can walk out of a house when they're already dead and put a gun in their mouth. And no human being alive can run through 4 inches of snow without leaving any marks. The more you look at it, the more you realise we've been coming at it from the wrong angle. And the question's not, why weren't there any footprints? But why couldn't you see them? Answer, because you weren't looking in the right place. That trick with the car, performed for the benefit of a journalist and his readers, had an echo of something. The way he described it, she sat him in the conservatory, roller outside the window, flipped some blinds about, suddenly it's turned into a Porsche. Now, there's 2 or 3 ways she could have worked that, but for speed and simplicity, only one that made any sense. And once you've got the key to it, that you're not looking through a pane of glass anymore, that that's a mirror, reflecting a different part of the garden entirely, all things are possible.